practicing and reviewing a little bit every day that's going to make all the difference in the world. You're going to do better practicing 10 or 15 minutes every day than to not practice all week and grab the guitar for 3 hours on a Saturday. Friends, I want to talk today about getting the most out of your guitar lessons. When you're paying to go take lessons somewhere, how do you get the most of your guitar lessons? Well, let's say you're paying an institution, maybe you're paying a private teacher, maybe you're even taking lessons on Zoom. How do you want to get the most value out of your money? Number one, if you're taking in-person lessons, first thing I often tell people is whether you have a waiting room or a lobby or you have to wait outside, or maybe the teacher comes out and says, hey, I got to make a phone call, I got to do something really quick, I got to use the bathroom, go ahead and get set up. You'd be amazed at how many times as a guitar teacher you'll do that, and you're gone for a couple minutes and you come in, you're kind of expecting the person to have their guitar be tuned up and be reviewing the material, and they're still sitting there with the guitar in the case. As soon as you get to your lesson, hopefully they have a waiting room. If not, if you're in the lesson room waiting, get your guitar out. Get tuned up, get your notes out, get them on the music stand, start reviewing the material that you've been working on. That's a big way, guys, to get the most out of your lessons. If you're taking Zoom lessons, be ready 10 minutes beforehand before you get the message to say, hey, join my meeting or whatever it is. If you're scrambling at that time, if you're running late, you're not set up, you're not even home, and then you've got to kind of get your guitar set up, then you got to get tuned up. That eats up about 10 minutes of your lesson. A lot of the traditional lessons are about a half an hour. I don't give hour lessons unless, two reasons why I'd give an hour lesson. Number one, maybe it's a special workshop I'm putting on. Number two, maybe it's for an advanced student who can assimilate all the information that I'm giving, or maybe it's somebody who missed the previous lesson and we're doing an hour for a makeup or something, depending on. Now, guitar lessons, guitar teachers have different policies. I'll occasionally do that for a student. But usually a half an hour is more than enough for someone who's relatively new, learning all these new concepts, learning all these new chords, how to do all these different things. If not, over an hour, it can be very overwhelming. Bring notes, have a duotang, have a binder. If the teacher's writing out notes for you and hands it to you, and you lose it, or it gets crumpled up, or the dog pees on it, it doesn't leave a good impression on the teacher the next week when you go in. I know for me, after a while, that gets on my nerves. It's like, hey, I'm taking the time to write this out for you. Can you be respectful enough to get a little binder to put these in and bring them with you all the time? There's one thing that a guitar teacher, there's two things actually that a guitar teacher never wants to hear. The first thing is, I never got a chance to practice this week. Now, we're being honest here, folks. There's no BS here. We're being honest. Life can get busy. Things happen. But usually it tends to not be that the person didn't get a chance to practice. It's usually that maybe they're not the best with managing their time. You really couldn't get 10 or 15 minutes into practice every day. Like really, that is hard to believe when you really look at it. Not that, people aren't being truthful or whatever. It comes down to two things. Bad time management, it happens. You've got a busy day, you're scrambling. Number two, the person just doesn't want to practice. It usually comes down to those two things. So remember, folks, try and be organized with your time. Review your material every day, even if it's just for 10 or 15 minutes. Because if you start falling behind, then it puts the guitar teacher in a really weird situation because he can't keep giving you more material or doing new things if you're falling behind on the other stuff. So it's very important to find the time to practice every day. Find a time of day that's really good for you. Don't leave it right before you go to bed, and don't do it around a really hectic time of day. It's up to you to figure out what works for you, but that's what I would suggest. And also get a guitar stand, keep your guitar right on the stand wherever you're going to be frequenting. It makes it that much easier to grab the guitar and practice. If the guitar is sitting in a case under your bed, person's watching TV, they're like, oh yeah, I got to practice. I'll go get the guitar next commercial. Well then, human nature, right? Next commercial comes, oh yeah, before you know it, it's 10 o'clock at night and you're too tired. Set yourself up to succeed. Get a little guitar stand, put the guitar on it, and go from there. But make the effort every day, because especially in the beginning, the first couple of months, it's that practicing and reviewing a little bit every day that's going to make all the difference in the world. You're going to do better practicing 10 or 15 minutes every day than to not practice all week and grab the guitar for 3 hours on a Saturday. It's just the way it works. The other thing is that the guitar teacher never wants to hear is, oh, I can't pay you this week. Guys, I'm going to be honest. I could literally write a book with everything I've seen in my lifetime. You have to, I don't know what it is about music lessons and guitar lessons, but I often equate it to the fact that would you walk into a restaurant and order a meal and then leave and not pay? How are guitar lessons any different? If you are fortunate enough to get a really good instructor, well, any instructor, but if you get a good instructor, treat them with respect. Pay them on time. Having to go into debt collection mode or money collection mode is not fun for a guitar teacher. Believe me, that was an unpaid second job I had for a few years too. As my people skills got better and I learned how to deal with people, I learned how to do the gentle art of collecting money in a nice way from people. But remember, treat your teacher with respect. You know, if they have to start chasing after you for money, usually the lessons aren't going to last for too long. And last but not least, go into your lessons with a positive mindset and a positive attitude. Yes, sometimes we have bad days. Yes, something can go sideways. I was talking to a friend the other day how a couple of Mondays ago I had to do a lot of errands, make a lot of stops. Everything I did that way, there was a wrench thrown into it. And I'm sitting there going, really? Hey, but still when you get to your lesson, be positive. If it's a bad vibe, especially right in the beginning, that affects the guitar teacher too. I know for me personally, I like to teach people that are positive and have a positive attitude. When you start getting the vibe that somebody doesn't want to be there or they're negative or argumentative, that's also a sign that the lessons are probably going to come to an end very quickly. Although people can have a bad day, it does happen. I hope that helps, guys, but those are really important tips to get the most out of your lessons, to make things as good as possible, not just for you, but also your teacher too. Remember, music is probably part of their life study. It's part of their skill set. Treat them with the respect they deserve. Hope that helps. Practice hard, but practice smart. And we'll see you soon.